everyone. Thank you for joining the doctoral webinar series at Nobel International Business School. My name is Irene Ahimah, and I am your moderator. The theme for this webinar is Transformative Learning, Embracing the Academic and Professional Doctoral Experience. And today you'll have the opportunity to meet some of our faculty members who will talk to us about some of the programs we have here at NiBS, and our very dear alumni who also joined to share their stories and experiences about their journey with us. So not to waste much of your time, I would like to introduce the faculty members who will join us today. We have Dr. Edmond Kwame Nkrumah, who is the PhD Program Coordinator, Mr. Collins Kobler, who is the DBA Program Coordinator, and Mr. Joshua Amuzu, who is the DBL Program Coordinator. And to begin, I have here with me Mr. Collins Kobler, who will talk to us briefly about NiBS and also about the Doctor of Business Administration program. Mr. Kobler.
Right. Thank you very much, Irene, for that introduction. Okay, so I'll be taking you through briefly about the DBA program, and I'll be walking you through issue requirements, the course structure, course delivery. Also, talk to you about some of the benefits you get if you want to be with us. So it's operationalized in terms of how we supervise, how we support, how we structure our courses, how we structure our supervision process, and so on and so forth. And this is not to say that if you join us, it's a given that you finish in 3 years. So this is what we do internally, but the onus lies on the students to also do their part to finish on time. So why NIBS, right? I put this together just to reflect what I call the NIBS advantage. Why NIBS? Why not any other school for your doctoral education? So NIBS because we put in conscious effort to make you finish on time, which is the graduate on time model, right? We are executive friendly. Our program design and program delivery is executive friendly. I used to jokingly say all the time that if you're not busy, this school is not meant for you. So our target is parents, executives who are busy executives out there, right? And this school is the most friendliest of all schools you find across the world in terms of being friendly in meeting the schedules of executives. Our courses are also developmental. So when I say we adopt a developmental approach, the reason here is that anytime we give you comments, even your assignment, you get comments. Anytime you get comments on something that you've done wrong, you always get a suggestion as to how you can overcome such deficiency in your work. So we don't just criticize, we also give you direction. So we are developmental in that sense.
I will now call on Dr. Patrick Edwin Fiscian. He is a 2021 DBA alumnus and currently the CEO of Redric Consulting. He will talk to us about his experience. Dr. Fiscian, thank you for your time.
Thank you for the invite, and I must say I'm really happy to be here. Now, in terms of my experience on the journey to achieving the DBA, I think what I would want to share is some potential pitfalls I noted, which I think will be of use to my fellow colleagues. Now, in every endeavor, you must start with the end in mind. So in the matter of this DBA, the question you need to ask yourself is that, what are you trying to achieve? Which basically is to produce a piece of work. That's your thesis. Okay. And therein lies the first danger. You know, you set out with a view, try to change the world. That's to produce something that has never been produced. But therein lies the danger, because you must be reminded that the program that you're pursuing is time bound. Okay, so it's nice to come up with something original and all that, but some topics you select, you realize that along the line you run short of materials, you run short of ideas, etc. And to be able to produce the nice works that you have in mind.
And just a reminder, if you have any questions, you can write them down so you do not forget. At the end of all the presentations, we are going to have a Q&A session where you have the opportunity to ask whatever is on your mind, and our faculty members will do their best to clarify them for you. Now we have Dr. Bernadette Naa Hoffman. She is also a 2021 DPA alumna and currently the founder and director of Berhill Services Limited. She's joining us online, and so I would leave it over to her now. Dr. Bernadette Hoffman.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Right, thank you for the opportunity. I'll say good afternoon, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. I've been introduced, so I'll just say thank you, and it's an honor to be here. Very quickly, I'll just touch on my background. So my background prior to my doctorate was in financial crime prevention. So naturally, I sort of looked at the lingering questions and researched into anti-money laundering compliance and what organizational or human elements would help achieve compliance in the regulatory requirements of the Ghanaian banking space. Talking about this, all I want to say to candidates or students coming up is look at a topic that interests you, because obviously you would need to own it eventually. And so if there's nothing that inspires you about what you're looking at, then it won't be a good start for you. It was great. Only thing I say that 10 months or so before my graduation, my supervisor then moved on to pursue other challenges. The night I saw the email drop, I was livid. I freaked out and I thought, what is going on here? But I will say that in her stead, I got a really good supervisor as well. He was incredibly talented. He had adequate resources and he was really prepared to manage the transition. And I think that transition was actually more seamless and less disruptive than I actually anticipated. So that was really well managed by NiBS. I know several people have talked about support. The support that NiBS gives candidates or students is just incredible. And I couldn't even say more considering what else has been said earlier. But if you look at the fees that we pay at NiBS, I mean, compared to whatever is on the market, arguably you would say it is a little pricey, but for the value that NiBS offers, I will say it's worth every penny that we paid. I must just add that I'm not being paid to say this. I'm just saying it based on how I feel about what I paid. So just note that. 22 of us or so enrolled on my program. We started from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hoffman. The next on the list is Dr. Felix Ndinemenu. He is also a 2021 DBA alumnus and currently the operations director at Ocean Quest Petroleum. He's joining us online from Nigeria. Dr. Ndinemenu, over to you.
Thank you very much. I hope you all can hear me. I'm actually connected from Kigali, where I am right now. Okay. Yes. Good afternoon, distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to be part of this webinar. I want to start first by really telling our candidates here, the doctoral candidates, and those who are maybe thinking about joining this program, that indeed, as long as you put your mind on this program, once you have signed in, you have a very good chance of completing this program, not only on time, but I think in flying colors. But of course, it takes some sacrifice. And in the course of the next 10 minutes, I will just give some narrative on some of the things I consider keys to successfully completing this program. The first one I would say it's ensuring that you attend classes. I found this point very important, very useful, because I think that when you are in a class setting, there are a lot of learnings that you can get from interactions that occur in class that if you are, I think on this note, I would like to add my experience sharing. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ndinemenu. We will continuously remember that there is no shortcut and we should not give up. I think that is it for the Doctor of Business Administration program. We will now move on to the Doctor of Business Leadership program. And so I have here with me Mr. Joshua Amuzu, who will talk to us about the DBL program. Amuzu.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. I want to business school. So since 2019, we have been able to groom several leaders within the academic space who are able to make evidence-based decisions, who are able to do research that are cross-cutting in their organizations, and are able to make very sound decisions based on theory and are able to relate them directly with practice-based issues to be able to solve problems within the organization. So since then,
Thank you very much, Mr. Amuzu. At this point, I hope that you understand the differences between the DBA and the DBL program. And during Mr. Amuzu's presentation, he kept talking about Dr. Tiffa Baio. Fortunately, we have him with us today to share his experiences. He's joining us online from Sierra Leone, and he's currently the Director General for Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority. Dr. Tiffa Baio, if you're with us, kindly unmute yourself and let us hear from you.
Thank you very much, Felix, and other faculty members. Let me first of all welcome the incoming doctoral students for the DBL program to Nobel International. And like Joshua said, Mr. Amuzu said, I am one of the pioneering students for the Doctor of Business Leadership Cohort 1, who graduated in 2021. I would say the COVID-19 students. You have to be disciplined first. You have to come with some amount of discipline because first, the program itself, like I said, is actually a novelty that is being done by Nobel International Business School. You cannot find a leadership program like this within the sub-region or even globally within any other school so far. So which means that it's kind of unique in the sense that it requires some amount of discipline for you to be able to grasp the concept. My experience was actually, I would say it was a roller coaster. The first part of the semester, I found it very difficult to even my colleagues all the best in NiBS.
Dr. Ndinemenu, for touching on topics such as discipline. Dr. Tiffa Baio, for touching on topics such as discipline and how you apply the things you learned with us in your current workplace. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and so that is it for the DBL program. We'll move on to our final doctoral program, which is the PhD, and we have Dr. Edmond Kwame Nkrumah, the PhD program coordinator, with us.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone online. I'm the PhD program director, not the coordinator. Okay, so I've been following, and I can say that my colleague have actually addressed all the issues related to the procedures and what the course entails. I will just briefly explain the extent to which the PhD distinct from the traditional DBA, from the DBA and the DBL program. So it's almost the same, but it's just a thin line. Just that the PhD is more theoretical. It's more or less like developing, contributing to theory to influence practice. Okay, that's the most important thing. And this is what makes the PhD a bit higher than the DBA and the DBL. However, you can still use the DBA and DBL for the same purposes. Okay, but they are both research intensive, but PhD is more research intensive because we focus more on the theory and the three principles that I always use. What has been done, what is yet to be done, and what am I doing to actually contribute to literature? So it's about contributing to literature. Okay, so the PhD program demonstrates experts in a specific topic, you're expert in a specific topic, and how prepared you are to diagnose the issues to contribute to literature, and how this literature can also improve practice. Okay. Then it's important.
Program director. Sorry for the mix earlier. We'll now move on to Dr. Sule Omotosho. He is a PhD alumnus and currently the principal consultant at Knotedge Consulting Ltd. He's with us online. So over to you, Dr. Omotosho.
That make us to come and talk to you about the success that we have made from the school. These are very, very distinct. They are not like what you witness in the traditional universities. And then the second one is why. Why do you really want to pursue a PhD program? You must have an objective to do that, because this will help you to know whether you're in the right place or not. And then I will share a bit of my experience in the school. So if you look at the first aspect of what I would like to discuss, the key drivers, I think I will start with the insights and foresights of the founder of the school, Professor Edwin Fiscian. I think he has a very good foresight in terms of bringing doctoral education into what we call innovative and productive education in terms of acquiring knowledge up to PhD. And I give him a kudos on that. The other thing I also want to mention about this is the very strong leaders in terms of what we have at the school, both academic administration and then the research assistant. We have very strong lecturers, those who really have very good knowledge of what they are teaching. And we also have a very good support base. And I'm very happy that Mr. Collins Kobler is still with the school and doing very well. So these are crop of research assistants that we need that can really motivate anybody who really want to study at the doctoral level. Then the third one is the social convenience. Many people haven't, many of the students have not even talked about this. When you go to a school environment, an analyst in terms of research analyst, a consultant, and I think PhD program will afford this opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you also, Dr. Omotosho. You joined us all the way from Nigeria. We are grateful for your time. And so we have our final speaker for this webinar, and she is by the name Dr. Jewel Enyonam Ewo. She is also a PhD alumna and currently a lecturer, coach, and mentor at Lancaster University. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Ewo.
Hi. Thank you for having me. It was good to see some familiar faces and some new faces. It's particularly good to see my colleague, Dr. Omotosho from Nigeria. Hi, Sule. Dr.
Hi.
Yes. So, as you said, actually, we're in the same class. I enrolled in 2017, when the campus was at East Legon. And I enrolled at the time because I was already in academia. I was a lecturer, had been teaching for just about a year or so. And I mean, any academic knows that getting a PhD is becoming a prerequisite now if you really want to remain in academia. So it's something I've been thinking about. I've been, contemplating doing my PhD, but the question was how? Because most of the other institutions were demanding that, students had to be full-time students. You couldn't be working and doing your PhD. So that was proving a challenge. Plus, I had a very young family at the time and just couldn't, I just been thinking about how I was going to combine the dynamics of work and home and school, at the time. So enter NiBS. I heard about the NiBS program, went there, found out about it. And I found out that the systems and structures were such that they provided an enabling environment for you to actually do a PhD without compromising on your involvement, quality, and all that. Do it and then still be able to work and still be able to have a family if that's a challenge for you. And I just want to mention 3 particular things that I found, to be remarkable about the NIBS program. As Sule mentioned, I'll also add that as much as the environment is enabling, you will have to put in the work. You'll have to persevere because many times you get feedback on your work, something you think you've done excellent work, and then find that, you have to work on this, you have to add that, you have to change that. But perseverance, I believe perseverance is the watchword, keeping the goal before you and then just doing your very best with the opportunity. So yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. I can't hear you.
Thank you for Dr. Jomo for touching on perseverance. We are also grateful for your time for joining us today and making this a successful webinar.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
We hope to see you again some other time as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. We'll keep that in mind though. We are going to note it down for next time. So
no, I know you people. I know you'll be back. I know.
Okay.
I'm ready for it. Anytime.
That's good to know. Okay, so now we will move on to our final session, which is the Q&A session. I told you before to write your questions down. I hope you did. If you didn't, I hope you still remember your questions and you didn't forget them. So if you have any questions or any concerns, anything you want us to clarify, all you have to do is to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your questions. And at least one of our faculty members will clarify your concerns or questions. So the floor is all yours. Any question for us? Any concern you want us to clarify? Okay, we have David Samuel. Please go ahead and ask your question. Concern you want us to clarify? Okay, we have David Samuel. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Good afternoon, all. Yeah, I wanted to know what's the total cost. The last time I applied for the doctorate in leadership. I wanted to know the total cost. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. I got a question, please. So the total cost is $37,905.
Say again, I did not get you clearly.
$37,995.
Okay. Now, how payments are going to be done? Are they going to be done on installment on quarterly?
Okay, so when you get admission letter, first you have to make an initial deposit. You make an initial deposit of $4,500 to hold a place. Now, after making that initial deposit of $4,500, the remainder is what you will be spreading over a 3-year period. So you'll be left about just a little over $33,000.
Okay.
So that amount, if you divide by 3, you have just a little over again $11,000.
Okay.
So that $11,000, that annual fee, is what you spread for every year. So some people will pay every month, some people will pay every 2 months, some people will pay every 3 months, biannually, and so on. But what you should know is that at the end of each year, you should be paying a total lump sum of just a little over $11,000.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great.
Okay, so if anyone else has a question, that was the final question. Thank you very much for sticking with us until the end. Wherever you are, we are grateful for your time. We are grateful for your interest in NiBS. And so for our closing remarks and vote of thanks, I would like to call on Ms. Selom Amedo. Okay, we'll have her with us right away.
Thank you so much, Irene. This has been an insightful info session. Thank you so much to our faculty members, alumnus and alumnas, to everyone that has taken time out of their busy schedules to join us on today's webinar. At NiBS, you are not just going to be a student, you're going to be part of a family, part of a rich alumni as well. It is true that when you're considering an academic journey, you are torn between work, personal life, and that academic journey. But at NiBS, we have a system in place that makes it easy for the busy executive to take this program. It is our hope that all your questions, all your concerns have been addressed accordingly, whether you had the chance to ask them or not. After this session, we'll be in touch with you, and we hope that by the time we do, you would have come to a decision to hopefully join our September and October class this year. On that note, thank you so much once again, and do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.
See you again next time. If you're interested in enrolling, do well to contact any of us, and we will make sure to help you in the best way we can. Once again, thank you, and see you again next time.